going on, guys? Welcome back to Knicks City. I'm your host, Jonathan Carney. With me, Jordan Bailey. And today in this episode, we'll be recapping the first couple games in the Eastern Conference semifinals between the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. We'll be covering Game 1, Game 2, and we will preview Game 3. So I'm Jonathan Carney, and I'll let Jordan Bailey introduce himself here.
How's everything going, guys? This is Jordan, back again with you guys, Knicks City Rock. Just ready to talk some more Knicks, and it was great for us to pull it out and tie the series up, and I want to see what we can do for Game 3.
So if you haven't known already, if you haven't followed the Knicks or NBA, the Knicks are now split series 1-1 between the Miami Heat and Madison Square Garden, where the Miami Heat defeated the New York Knicks in the first game 108-101. And the New York Knicks rallied back in Game 2 and beat them 111-105. So we'll dive into Game 1 first. So obviously the score is 108-101, where the New York Knicks really struggled the entire game. Basically, the biggest stat line is they shot 7 for 34 for 3. That is absolutely horrendous. And overall, they were 41 for 86. They were getting a lot of stuff down in the paint, but Miami just figured them out, and they just stacked the paint and just denied them anything in the paint. So they just forced the Knicks to shoot. And the other stat line for me was Jalen Brunson, who is usually the catalyst when he's coming to 3 points. He was 0 for 7, and usually he makes at least 4 to 5 per game, and he was 0 for 7, which is absolutely huge. He was still getting stuff normally like he would in the game down low, but again, he needs to get his 3-point shot in order for the defense to kind of not necessarily understand what he's doing, because when he gets his threes, he can go in and then he can shoot, he can do everything. So if he's not shooting, then he just can go down low, and Miami figured that out at 100%. Obviously, game run, no Julius Randle. He was dealing with a foot injury. R.J. Barrett in Game 1, 26 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. So good outing by R.J., but he just wasn't really finding his 3-point shot. He was 1 for 5, which is not really that great. And lastly, in Game 1, before I let Jordan take over here, Obi Toppin replaced Julius Randle because of the foot injury. He got 18 points, 8 rebounds, and no assists. But he was shooting the 3 like it was no other. He went 4 for 11 for 3. He shot 11 threes. To me personally, I thought he got a little 3 happy. But overall, a reasonable performance by Obi, and he was the only one that was really making threes. But again, you need Julius Randle out there. So overall, it was a tough game for the Knicks to contain the Heat. Obviously, Jimmy Butler was in Game 1. But they just couldn't hit their threes, which caused them to lose the game. So I'll let Jordan take over.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying. In my last video, and by the way, go watch that. When y'all get the chance. But what I was gonna say is, like, as far as our defense, as far as the 3-point line, has been very difficult for us to contain them. They've shot pretty well from 3 the first 2 games. And in order for us to be able to, do anything better in this series, or to be able to even win this series, we have to contain that 3-point line a lot better. And, that definitely means stepping up more on Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. I didn't even know about – I knew about these guys, but I didn't expect them to be shooting the way they've been shooting, to be quite frank with you, to start these first 2 games. So they've definitely shown that they can be a very dangerous team from 3. And as well as just, like, even yesterday, the other day when they played, like, it's just, they seemed a lot more cohesive than us, and for us to be, I just think we need to be a lot more cohesive. And I think a lot of times we depend on Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ to kind of save us. And I feel like that's kind of how it's been these last 2 games. And even though, like I said, even last game it was a hard-fought battle, it was a nail-biter. So I know it'll be different once Jimmy comes back for Game 3. And I'm definitely interested to see how that's going to be. As far as, like, I know it'll be different because a lot of those shots that Gabe Vincent and Strus and Caleb Martin were able to take, they're not going to be able to take because Jimmy's going to be taking over the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be it'll be a different dynamic, and we just have to navigate that. But I think with Julius coming back and having the game that he did in game 2, I think that was huge. Yeah. Without that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was just a huge game from him, especially on the bad ankle. So and like I continue to say, man, we need IQ, we need Obi. Well, Obi, I can't speak too much on Obi, but I would definitely say IQ. Since he has the ball a lot of times when he's in the game, and he's kind of depended on to be that fire starter, so to speak, for us. We need that. We definitely do. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what IQ can, seeing if he can bounce back. I think between him and Grimes, I personally think, and I don't know, I personally think that Quentin Grimes should get put back into the starting lineup, and Josh Hart should probably move back.
Oh yeah, he needs to be in the bench. Yeah, and quickly to piggyback off of you, in game 1 he got 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and he shot 3 for 9, and he played for 27 minutes, which that's just is a lot. I didn't know he played for 27 minutes. He's on a short leash, if you would to say. If he's doing one thing wrong, Tibbs takes him out almost instantly, and that was more in game 2. He got more leeway in game 1, and again, quickly needs to do something. I mean, at the end of the day, that stat line for someone who had an absolutely sensational ending of the year. That 9 points in a playoff game 1 in Madison Square Garden. You got to do a little bit better than that, my friend. And then again, 3 for 9 shooting, and then he was 1 for 4 for 3. His main shot is the 3. You need to at least get 2 or 3 3-pointers to go when you come off the bench. And again, just to piggyback off of what you said, Josh Hart started game 1, so really he was the catalyst in guarding Jimmy Butler. So when the bench came in, they didn't have that spark to come off the bench. And clearly Josh Hart is a spark to come off the bench, and which makes that Knicks bench as good as it is. It has the depth, it has that spark, it has that fire and desire from Josh Hart that makes Quickly play better, Obi play better, Hartenstein play better. Every single person that's on the bench plays better when Josh Hart's a part of that team. And so when he's starting, he's not playing with the bench. So that, I think that was a big issue there. But again, just before we close out game 1, like you talked about, I wouldn't say as in regards to the threes. So if you look at Miami, they only made 13 threes. They went 13 for 39, so it's not even that great. I mean, it was better than the Knicks, obviously, but Gabe Vincent and Strauss and Martin, all these guys are getting really good looks in game 1 and in game 2. We'll talk about game 2 in a little bit here. I'm just going to close out game 1 here, but they're getting wide open looks. The rotation that the Knicks have on defense, they just can't get to these shooters, and these shooters aren't really, they don't have the ability to create their own shot. They just really kind of just stand around, move around, and then when they get the ball, they shoot. Another example is Kevin Love, and so really the Knicks, it's not really that hard to close them out and stay on them to close their shots. And obviously I would take a 33% shooting at the 3-point line, 13 for 39. But again, Jimmy Butler was in that game and he caused the Knicks havoc. So at the end of the day, I think Spoelstra really outcoached Tibbs in game 1. The Knicks The Knicks could not figure it out down the stretch. They were really struggling in the third quarter specifically. Miami came out really strong, and then the Knicks just could not compete after there. And then they were just chucking threes because Spoelstra stacked the paint and just forced the Knicks to shoot, and no one could shoot the ball. Like, no one but Obi. And again, Obi was 4 for 11, so you're not really getting anything there. So it was a tough game. Yeah. You got to. They lost home court because they lost game 1, and Miami's task is to take 1 in Madison Square Garden, and they did with game 1. And so, I mean, it's up to the Knicks now, since they won game 2, to win in Miami. But let's move on to game 2, which is better news for Knicks fans. They were able to win this game in one of the most stressful games I've ever watched in my entire life. This is probably the most stressful basketball game I've ever watched. Being support
For sure.
of a team. I mean, there's been really other stressful games in regards to other teams, but I support the Knicks, so this by far one of the most stressful games. But the Knicks were able to defeat the Miami Heat in a thriller 111 to 105. And this time around, they did shoot better in the three-point line. Not sensationally better, but they were 16 for 40, which is way better than 7 for 34, shooting at 40%. And you got the big three, which is Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and R.J. Barrett, who Jalen Brunson put on a show and scored 30 points. RJ
Yes,
at
sir.
24, and Julius Randle, who definitely need out there, had a really good 25 point game, and he also had 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 assists shy from getting a triple double. I think I was watching, I don't know, First Take or something, and Stephen A said that if Randall got the two assists, it would have been like the first triple double in Knicks postseason since Clyde Frazier in like 1972. So that is something else. And again,
It is something.
but overall, I think the Knicks did exactly what they needed to do in game two. They needed to win. You know, when you're down 1-0 in game two and it's in the Garden, you had to win. You can't go into Miami down 2-0. And some Knicks fans, personally, I thought the Knicks at one point were going to win the game, and it was going to be cardiac Knicks, and we were going to be in panic mode for sure, 100%. But I think the Knicks did an excellent job in just riding it out and winning the game. So I think Julius Randle is also really important in this game. I don't really think besides Bam, but I don't know if anyone on the Heat can really take on Julius Randle. I mean, Bam Adebayo was guarding him, but he still gave him the news. Julius Randle did, and he got 25 points, and he was out there. I mean, we're the crew that if you know us personally, we have been skeptical on Julius Randle, but you know when you talk about it's second round. You need him to play. You need him to play. You give him all this money. He's 6'9". He's one of he's your second best player. He needs to play. So I think he came out and proved his worth. And so I can't be more happy. So I'll let you take it on, Jordan.
Yeah, I was just thinking, and I kind of, we place a lot of emphasis on R.J. Barrett and Jalen Brunson and Julius. Obviously they're the heart and soul of our team, but I would have to say, some of our role players, I have to give some of them credit between, Josh Hart. He almost had a triple-double last game. I think he was, 1 rebound shy?
Yeah, he was 14 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. He was 1 assist shy.
1 assist, yeah. Right. So that was a great game.
2 big threes. Sorry to cut it off, but he had 2 absolutely massive threes. And usually I don't scream when I'm watching these games, but both of those threes I exploded. But I'll let you continue.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. And also Hartenstein had a great game. He got a lot of key rebounds at the end of the game for us. He played pretty good defense. I would have to even say like he's kind of been better than Mitch in this series thus far.
Yep.
Last series Mitch was getting all those rebounds, and like we said, they packing the paint, so it's like Bam is kind of boxing him out, and he's not even able to like wreak havoc like he did last series against the Cavs, and so I think that's been kind of our Achilles heel. It's like those threes are more make or miss type of threes. Like if you miss, then Miami getting that rebound. They've been getting that rebound more often than not, and we haven't been able to get those offensive rebounds like I know we're capable of, and we showed before. So I just definitely wanted to give our bench, some key role players on our team the credit that they deserve. Because without them, it's still no telling where we'd be.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't so Hartenstein, back to piggyback on Hartenstein, his stat line isn't all that great. It's 3 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist. but he had 4 offensive rebounds, which were absolutely
Yes.
critical. He had that one. He had that one offensive rebound. I think he kicked it back to Brunson. They kicked it to Randall, and then Randall kicked it out to Josh Hart, wide open, hit the three. They were up 4. So I mean, if
Yeah.
it wasn't for him, that wouldn't
Yeah.
have happened. And they were only up 1, and that 3, they're up 4. That was a huge shot in the game. And so Hartenstein was all over the place. And again, I agree with you. I think. Bam, not necessarily figuring out Mitchell Robinson, but Mitchell Robinson has been getting into foul trouble early. I think he got in foul trouble in the last game early, and then in game 2, he got in foul trouble right away. So I don't know if Bam's playing him too intensely to where he's causing him to be discombobulated, to where he fouls unnecessarily. So when it's the first quarter, he's got to get taken out because he's got 2. But Hartenstein, I mean, he's gotten a little bit been in foul trouble, but there's a lot of things that he did in that game. If he didn't do, the Knicks wouldn't have won. I mean, he did that screen, and I don't know who was. It might have been Bam. I'm not sure who it was, but when Jalen Brunson hit that 3, and then they ran Hartenstein over and hit the 3, and then it became a 4-point play. I mean, Hartenstein is basically defending Jalen Brunson so he can get that wide open 3. So, but overall, yeah.
I'm sorry, man, I cut you off, but yeah, I was just thinking like, I don't know about you, but I was looking at the game and I'm like, Mitch is on Bam, so it's like I don't know. I'm like, he can't guard Bam. Bam's too fast for him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So that's why if you step up and Bam's got a jump shot, so if he's at mid range, if he's from the mid range, and he hits you with that pump fake, he's by you.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? He's definitely by Mitch because he's not fast enough to keep up. So
because he only really can guard in the paint, and he had to wait for Bam to go in the paint where he can shoot the ball anywhere on the key, and you can go down low and everything. But I think one of the biggest problems with Mitch is he keeps jumping. I mean, you're what, 6'10"? Well, how tall is he? 6'10"? Let me see.
Yeah.
I think he's 6'10", something around the lines. He's 6'10",
he's 7 foot.
What? He's
what?
7 foot. Oh, he's 7 foot. Even I guess even worse. But when you're down in paint, you're 7 foot. Just put your hand up. You're tall as heck. I don't know why he keeps jumping. He keeps jumping, and then he gets a foul. Well, you just put your hand up, stay straight up, and when they go up, just go up. I mean, this is just 101 basketball. This is what you're taught when you're when you're 12 years old. And I don't want to roast anyone. I'm not here to be the guy to put you under the bus. You're in the NBA. I'm not, but
we got to be critical.
Yeah, I'm going to be critical. But again, he's in the NBA. I'm not. But at the end of the day, if you're 7 foot, just stand up, put your hand up, don't jump. There's countless times where Cape Vincent's under the hoop and he's like jumping all over him. He's Cape Vincent. He's like so much shorter than you. All you have to do is stand up with your hand up, and he's not going to be able to get the ball off. I really don't understand what his thought process is, and I think in the Cleveland series, Mitchell Robinson had his way against Cleveland because the people that were rebounding against him, defending him, had no answer for him. So when no one has an answer for you, you're going to be able to do what he did specifically in Game 5. Obviously, it's kind of not necessarily upsetting. He can't really figure it out right now, Mitchell Robinson, against the Heat, and I think that's because Spoelstra's now the coach for the Heat, and Bam is way better than Jared Allen is the center for Cleveland. I mean, Bam Adebayo is night and day comparison compared to. I'm not docking Jared Allen; he's a great ball player, but when you're comparing, Adebayo to Jared Allen, I'm picking Adebayo any day of the week. But I think.
But that's what I was going to say. I think really we should play small. I think I think Julius can play center. Certain times because I see lineups a lot of times where Bam is the center. Yeah. So it's like you can have Bam at the center, and then you can have Julius match up with Bam, and then we can even have Josh Hart playing power forward. He gonna get rebounds. He gonna do things. He's gonna get in there. He's gonna get a couple big. He's gonna make some plays regardless of where he plays at. So I don't know. That was just an idea I was thinking of. I'm like, why don't they play a little smaller instead of always having Hartenstein or Mitch? Because I understand because they get the boards and they play good defense down low, but at certain times, I think from a just from a personnel standpoint, maybe we can just match up a little better and have somebody smaller, being
Right.
able to
Yeah,
in there. Somebody
In
smaller,
game two,
quicker.
Mitchell Robinson had 5 rebounds in that entire game. He had 5 rebounds when
Yeah,
he should be getting what 12 or 14 around the lines. Um,
exactly.
but no, I agree with you there. But Josh Hart, I think he's got to come off the bench. And one of the biggest
Yeah, right,
problems,
right.
we already mentioned this, but I really want to dive into this issue that the Knicks continue to see. In game two, there was a point in time to where in like the third quarter and was midway, and the bench only scored like 2 points. They only had 2 points. That is terrible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the stat of how much they scored, but I think around the line they really didn't get all that many points in regards to the bench. Once quickly couldn't figure it out, and once Obi couldn't really do much. Tibbs was just like Brunson, get back in there, Randall, get back in there, and then Brunson put on his show and basically took the Knicks home and got him the win. But at the end of the day, quickly, I mean, I love quickly, but he's got to show up. He's got to perform in game two. Quickly had less minutes than he had in game one, but he had, let's see, he played for 9 minutes and he had 6 points and 1 rebound, and he was 3 for 7 for the field, and he was 0 for 4 for three. So I mean that, but he again quickly didn't really perform the way Tibbs wanted him to. So as soon as he saw that, he took him out. And unfortunately, in this playoff game, must win, you got to perform. And if you're not going to perform, you're going to be getting taken out if Tom Thibodeau is your coach. So and the same thing with Obi. I mean Obi, I'm looking at the stat line for game two. Game two for Obi, he played 10 minutes, 0 points, 1 rebound, no assist, and he was 0 for 2. And I think both of them were threes, and one of them was a really tough air ball. But I did like they mic'd up Josh Hart. He's talking to Obi, and they showed him when they mic up players. He's telling Obi to continue to shoot, and which I like that. The shots there continue
I
to
like that
shoot.
too.
But at the end of the day, that's just a personal player mindset. You have to be encouraged. If you're open, you should shoot. But Spolstra wants Obi Toppin to shoot the three all day long. If he's open, he'd rather have Obi Toppin shoot that three. And again, they mentioned this on Knicks Fan TV, but I think it was JD. He said Eric Spoelstra will lose this series if Obi performs and shoots threes. Like he'll go into the locker room and he'll be okay if they lose if Obi Toppin shoots threes, because again his souffle really is not necessarily 3-point shots. He's improved it throughout his career, but normally he's more of a dunker and he goes inside and does a lot more there. I'm fine with him shooting threes, but not when you're going to airball like that. And against the Heat when they are also matching their threes, and Martin, Strauss, Gabe Vincent, all these guys, Robinson are knocking down their threes like it's no tomorrow. You also have to do that. So I think that
Yeah,
I think their bench really needs to perform when it comes to Game Three. I think they did not good at all in Game One and Two, and the stars Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ really had to show up for Game Two. So before we do our preview, I'll just let Jordan give his
yeah.
final
I
thoughts
just
of Game
wanted
Two.
to end with this. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to end with this as far as like I just want to piggyback off what you were saying as far as Josh Hart, and I think he does definitely, like we said, I think he does need to go to the bench. And even if you notice, although Spoelstra has outcoached Thibs thus far, that's definitely evident. But I think Thibs made a great decision last game by, if you saw, he kept, well, he put I mean, not Brunson, but Grimes in
Yeah,
for RJ. Even
Grimes
though
finished the game, which I
RJ
was
was
going to
having a
mention
great game.
Grimes, but I'll let you talk about him.
I was going to say, yeah, RJ was having a great game. You know what I'm saying? 5 threes.
Hmm.
Offensively, it was great, but I think Thibs knew, and even from what I was seeing, RJ's just too slow footed for the Miami Heat guards. He can't guard them.
Right,
And Grimes on the other hand, he's just as capable of a shooter, and he's a
right.
shooting threat, regardless of if he's going to shoot two or he shoots 3 threes in a whole game. They're gonna account for him. He's not gonna get too many open threes.
Yeah.
The same looks that RJ might get, like, as far as like the open three, that aspect. And I think it just stretches the defense out more and creates more spacing and more room for Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson and even RJ, when he's in there to work and do what they do and go to the rim and stuff like that. And on top of that, he's one of the best perimeter defenders on our team. And he can keep up with those guards. So I think that was just a great call by Thibs, even though a lot of people kind of questioned that, because I just think it was a great decision,
Right.
and we needed that defense kind of over the offense really at that time,
Yeah.
because like we said, Jalen Brunson was carrying us. He was doing what he was doing, and we just really needed to get some stops towards the end of that game. So
I mean,
I
they
think
did get
that's
him. I mean, at the end of the
yeah,
day, you
yeah,
know,
that was
RJ did what he needed to do. He got his points in the beginning, and he was showing that he can shoot the three throughout the game. And when it comes down to you need stops, it's a close game. You need stops. You have Randall Brunson out there. You don't really need RJ out there because when you come to clutch time, the two people that are going to get the ball is Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. RJ's really not going to see it, even though some people may want to see him sometimes get the ball. But if we're talking about clutch time under 5 minutes, I want Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson have the shot because I have more confidence with them getting the ball. But talking about Grimes, he did a good job. I mean, we're talking about the Martin, Strauss, Robinson, all these guys. You need to be able to obtain them. You need to eliminate the shot. So if they're just sitting at the three and they're wide open, and all you do is just put a hand in their face, that's not really good defense. Because even though you close them out, as a shooter, that's what you want to see. I want to be able to get into my shooting rotation. I want to be able to get a good look at the basket, and I want to have a good release. With the hand in my face, I can still do all that. And when you're looking at the Knicks, it's not I'm in your face and I got my hands up and I'm disrupting the formation and the flow of your shot. They're at the end of their shot where they're about to release the ball, then the hand comes into their face. That's a wide open shot. And I mean, Kate Vincent, Strauss, all these guys are getting wide open shots. And at the end of the game, I think Grimes is a great defender. That's why the Knicks drafted him. That's why he's playing in the last minutes of this game, and he really did a number. I think he did an excellent job in regards to executing the defensive game plan, and I think that's probably one of the better coaching rotations or the coaching decisions that Tibbs made. But I mean, Spoelstra so far, in my opinion, has been out coaching Tibbs
oh yeah, no doubt.
because he eliminated Jalen Brunson in regards to going in the paint in the second half in Game 1, which caused uh, the which caused the Heat to win Game 1, and then in Game 2 he knew the Knicks had a struggling rotation in regards to, like I said, closing these shooters out and being able to guard them. So when you have all these shooters, he's just telling them to shoot the ball, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. And so they shot the ball, and they were doing a really good job at it. But unfortunately, with even though he had a great coaching outing, they didn't win the game. But they did shoot 17 for 49 for three for Miami, but that's still pretty good. I mean, in regards to making 17 threes, I wouldn't have preferred to shoot 49, but again, when you're getting good open looks, might as well. But again, I'm happy that the Knicks were able to tie the series 1-1. But now we will talk about a preview for Game 3. So Game 3 is this Saturday at 3:30 on ESPN in South Beach in Miami. And for me, I don't even know where to begin to think about who's going to win this game, what to expect. This is all chaos going on right now. Um, Jalen Brunson's got an ankle problem. Julius Randle has an ankle problem. Jimmy Butler has an ankle problem. We don't even know who's going to be playing. But if you're the Knicks, I'm going to assume Jalen Brunson's going to fight it out, and Randle's going to be fighting it out. And if
For
I'm
sure.
Jimmy Butler, people are talking about he's probably not going to, he might not play Game 3, which I think is a load of baloney because I think
For sure.
he's 100% playing Game
They
3.
just
I
can't.
mean,
They just
that's
ain't had
just that's just my mindset. I think Jimmy Butler has a very win set mindset. There's no way he's not going to be in Game 3. But what to expect here? For me personally, we've been in the same boat before. I don't want to rehash the past, but as a Knicks fan, we've been in the situation to where they've had home court, specifically in 2013, round two, and in the first round in 2021. The first one is against the Pacers. The other one's against the Hawks, where the Knicks were lost game one, won game two, went into the opponent's home court with the series 1-1, and they weren't able to win any of those games in both Indiana and in Atlanta. So we are looking at the same scenario with this. They lost game one, won game two, going to Miami 1-1. I think this Knicks team is capable of winning in Miami. They did it in the regular season, but with an absolutely chaotic game where Julius Randle made a last minute shot that was absolutely fantastic. But I mean, they only won it by like 2 points.
Exactly.
But I think the Knicks have a chance. I'm not worried that they can win a game in Miami throughout the entire season. They've been a good road team. Clearly, in the last series they played against Cleveland, they were able to win 2 games in Cleveland, which is not really that necessarily a fun environment to play in. But they are able to take control of 2 prominent games, game one and game five. And so I don't think it's going to be a huge issue for the Knicks to do what the Heat did to New York and take one in New York. I think the Knicks can win one in Miami, but I just don't know which one it's going to be between game three or game four. Preferably, I hope it's game three, because if they win game three, then they technically get into the driver's seat, in the series stance. If you win game three, then Miami's forced to win game four. And so I personally think the Knicks are going to win game three and then lose game four, but that's just my opinion. In regards to the score, I have no idea where to begin, but I'll try to think about that while I give Jordan his opportunity. So what do you think is going to happen in game three?
Man, we taking both those games.
Damn! Oh my God! Taking both
but
of them.
I definitely, I do believe we can take one. I do believe that we are more than capable of at least taking one game for sure in Miami, and at least going back to New York tied 2-2. You know what I'm saying? I think that at the very least we can do that. I think we're capable of that. But I was gonna say, like I said, just like you, I watch Knicks Fan TV and Knicks Film School, and I was recently watching Knicks Film School, and I'm not sure if you were familiar. His name Benji Ritholtz. He was talking about basically how, like, this is kind of one of the first times where the Knicks are facing a team that's like so cohesive. Well, like not the first time, but like, as far as just like they have one of the best coaches,
Right,
top five
yeah.
coaches. So they're gonna be well coached. They're gonna be running a lot of different sets, and they're gonna play together within each other. And I think as far as like running off screens and doing things like that, that's a lot of things that they were doing last game, and we really didn't have too much of an answer for it. There was a lot of open threes from like we were talking about, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. It was a lot of like off screens, even Duncan Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Just hitting a lot of threes. So from that aspect, I just think we have to do a lot better with that. And if we clean it up, I don't foresee the Miami Heat as a team to continue to shoot the ball as good as the way they've been shooting it.
I mean, yeah, but really, like I said before, in the last game, they made what? They were like 30.
49. I thought, yeah, 35%.
Yeah, the 35%. That's not good. Yeah.
But just like me and you, we watching the game. A lot of those threes.
Yeah, right.
A lot of those threes.
Yeah, 34%.
From the eye test. From looking at it, from what we see, it's like every time it looked like we was gaining momentum.
Right.
Vincent or Strus or somebody hit the three. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So even though they didn't shoot well, it's like it still seemed. It seemed like Gabe Vincent shot more. He hit more threes than he really hit. You know what I'm saying, to me. But so it's like, I don't know. It's like I think that's just the main.
Yeah, my main Vincent in concern. Game 2 was 4 for 12 for 3, but all 4 of those shots were absolutely massive. Like, if you're a Knicks fan watching that game, you remember all 4 of those threes. And I don't remember him shooting 12, but he had like 21 points, which were probably one of the loudest 21 points I've ever seen in a long time.
Caleb Martin had what, 22?
Who?
Caleb Martin.
Martin, let's check. He had 22, yep. And his threes, he went like 4 for 8, so he went 50%, which is pretty good, actually.
Yeah. But I was gonna say also, I don't, it's not, I don't believe Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, or Jimmy Butler will sit out. Nobody's sitting
Oh
out.
yeah, no, no,
This is
no.
crunch time. This
Yeah,
is, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Your
I
leg
mean,
might have to come.
Jimmy was gonna play game two, but they told him no. I think it was either the Heat or the NBA were just like sit it down.
Yeah,
If I'm Jimmy Butler, I don't care. I'm playing because really, if you think about it, look at game two. If you're looking at the Heat perspective, if Jimmy Butler's in there, who knows what would have happened? I mean, really, at the end of the day, who knows what would have happened? Maybe these shooters get even better looks than they got in game two. And Jimmy, obviously, he's good for no matter if it's silent 25, loud 25, he's going to get 25 plus points. Easy. He's Jimmy Butler. He's going to get that. He's the best player right in this series, regardless whether you like it or not. If you're a Knicks fan, Heat fan, it doesn't matter. He's the best person on the court. And, I mean, he didn't really, to me, he kind of twisted his ankle up in game one. I saw it and I was like, nah, he can play on that. And I expected him to just bust it out and play it in game two. But apparently
yeah.
the Heat wanted to preserve that, didn't want it to get re-injured, and so he'll be back in game three for sure. Randall, I think he's healed up enough, and they play Tuesday and the next game Saturday. So it's like you said in the short that you made, 3 days off. Everyone, I mean, that's not a lot. That's really not all that great of a time to rest out, prepare for another game. But this is going to be an absolute insane series. So far, it's already pretty intense. So hopefully the Knicks can win one in Miami. I expect it's three. But if it's not three, I really, really hope it's four because if they lose both in Miami, I just don't know what's going to happen. I think panic mode will be in play if the Knicks do not win one game in Miami, and so therefore that's why I want them to win three really bad, and that's why I think they are going to win three is because if they don't win three, then they're really forced to win game four in enemy territory, and that's really tough. That's really challenging to do. But overall, I think the Knicks were good in rallying back in game two. It's unfortunate that they couldn't win game one, but I think overall this Knicks team can just learn from their mistakes from game one and two, fix it in hopefully three and four, and hopefully close this out sometime soon so we can move on from this round. But that's really about it for me for this show. I'll let Jordan uh, add
So
up to
I just had
anything.
a question for you. I was had
Oh,
a question for you, and then
yep.
I just give you my take. But
Okay.
do you think this is going seven?
It's
At
gonna.
this,
I mean, I have no clue. I think the Knicks are a good road team, but if it's going seven, certain things have to happen. I think between game three and four, we'll determine who's the better team. Clearly, if Miami wins both of these games in Miami, they're winning the series. I don't think the Knicks are capable. I mean, if you looked at game one, they can't get over the hump of a 5 point game. Even though in game two they got over the hump and a 6 point hump. But this Knicks team, I don't know if they're capable of getting out of that adversity if they're down 3-1. I mean, it really takes a
oh
really
yeah,
talented team to come back, and specifically in basketball. I mean, you saw it in hockey with the Florida Panthers being the Boston Bruins when the Bruins fell apart historically and blew the 3-1 lead. And it's happened in basketball before. But we're talking about teams that have like Steph Curry, LeBron James, and they're like these are elite players. I'm not saying that there's no that there's Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, they are elite players, but I don't know if they're capable if they're going to go down 3-1 to get back off of that hump and win. But right now it's 1-1, so it's not 3-1, it's 1-1, and all they have to do is win one game in Miami. And like I said before, they're capable of winning on the road, as the regular season has explained. Is it going to go to seven? I think it's got a chance to go to seven. Preferably, I wish it doesn't go to seven. But I still think 6 is what the Knicks are going to do. They're going to win the series in 6. I'm going to
Okay,
I'm going to stand by my prediction
like that.
in the last show. And the Knicks should be able to win the series in 6. But when we do the next show, and if anything has changed and the Knicks are down 3-1, I'm going to be in panic mode. Hopefully that's not the case. So do you still think 6, or you think it's going 7?
I think I'll err on the same side. I still think the Knicks can win in 6. It's early, and like I was just going to say, I saw a lot of people in Knicks film school the last episode, even from the last game, the post game I watched, with Jonathan Macri, and a lot of fans were very pessimistic, very, kind of worrying, like, dang, we barely was able to pull this out, and Jimmy's coming back next game, so this might be it's going to be an uphill battle, but.
Oh yeah, it's going to be.
But the one thing I could say about this team, and just being a fan, just like you, 10 almost 10 plus years, is I just think that we tough, we even though we've had difficult, we've hit the hump, we've hit the wall a couple times, and there's been times where I'm like, oh, we might not even be in the playoffs, we might just be in the play-in,
Right.
and every every time they you set something for them, or you set like a limit for them, they go above it. So I can't I can't count them out this time.
Oh, I'm not counting them out. Yeah, I think, like I said before, Julius Randle, he's coming in. He's coming.
Exactly.
He's coming for blood, and I've never seen this from Julius Randle in the playoffs. Right, it was first time in the Knicks jersey. He's played the Hawks. They knew exactly what to do with Julius Randle. He's inexperienced with the Knicks, and this time he's got Jalen Brunson to help him, and he's going guns blazing. He is not holding anything back, and you saw that in Game 2. Unfortunately, didn't play Game 1. If Julius Randle's in Game 1, I think the Knicks win. But I think with Julius Randle in there, he's had his way against Miami. I mean, me and you watched the game in New York, and where he twisted his ankle. He was on. He was having a little rocky of a game, but if he was still in there, he was getting in his rhythm. He was on track to be getting a good game in that game. So I think
I was one last thing, man. I just have to give R.J. Barrett his flowers, because I've been very critical.
Star J, Broadway Barrett, dude, Star J.
I've been very critical of R.J. all season. If nobody knows it more, it's Jonathan. We talk all the time.
About his jersey in the beginning of the year, dude. I was believing in Star J. I was riding the train, and I was on the ballpark with Jordan. At the end of the year, he was not playing that great. And this playoffs, after Game 3 against Cleveland, oh my God, Broadway Barrett has returned. Star J, Batman Barrett. Oh my goodness.
All the nicknames. You can throw all the nicknames this way. Yeah, he doing it. He earned that.
Oh yeah.
After the first couple games. So, hey man, I'm hoping for a great game on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So be prepared. I mean, we do shorts at most of the time after each game. So I do post reactions. Jordan does post reactions. So stay tuned for those. We'll do those for every game this series, and we'll also do this weekly show again every week. Next week we plan on the same time. It's probably going to be up Friday. But that's going to pretty much do it for this show. I'll let Jordan say anything if he has anything else before we get out of here.
Oh, well, that's pretty much it, man. But like I said, looking forward to Saturday, and let's get this win, man. Go Knicks.
Go Knicks, yeah.
So Knicks City Rock. Like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep. Yeah. If you like this stuff, please click that like button. If you think we can do something that improves the show, let us know down below. In the future, I hope to put this on Spotify, but I have to personally figure out how to do that because I don't know how to do that yet. But bear with us. Hopefully, the show eventually will be on Spotify and the podcast services once we get our footing. But stay patient with us. Hopefully, there's way more shows to come. And if you like this, click that like button. And if you want to see us again, make sure you subscribe so you can see us next time. Till then, go Knicks.